What are the Acambaro figurines? They're a collection of 33,000 or so small ceramic ornaments found in 1944, apparently, in the Mexican city of Acambaro. The weird thing about these figurines is how closely they resemble dinosaurs and other historic figures, and they're thought by some to be thousands of years old and are considered to be evidence for the coexistence of dinosaurs at the same time as human beings. But others believe them to be a modern-day hoax. Considering the circumstances of their discovery, I think a hoax would be more logical. But let's just look at it a bit closer. What if they weren't a hoax? What if they are thousands of years old? Does this actually prove that people existed at the same time as dinosaurs? In my opinion, hell no. Surely all it actually indicates is that an earlier group of humans knew about the creatures that lived millions of years earlier. Have you ever noticed how many children are fascinated with dinosaurs? And it actually doesn't matter what era the dinosaur lived in. They will have pictures and models of as many of them as they can get their hands on. And just like these figurines, some of these dinosaurs in children's bedrooms come from eras that are millions of years apart. So isn't that interesting? What does this indicate? Surely it means that only whoever made those models had access to information about dinosaurs. Maybe they had a book. Maybe they didn't discern between the eras that those dinosaurs lived. And when you look at the human figurines, you get a very strong feeling that there are some historic books involved as well. Here's an extract of what is said about them in Wikipedia. Eventually, the farmer and his assistants brought him over 32,000 figures. So it's talking about a time when the guy who discovered them or made them public, how he got his hands on them, which included representations of everything from the supposed dinosaurs to peoples from all over the world, including Egyptians, Sumerians, and bearded Caucasians. It further goes on to say, later on, that their surfaces displayed no signs of age, no dirt was packed into their crevices, and though some figurines were broken, no pieces were missing, and no broken surfaces were worn. Furthermore, the excavation's stratigraphy clearly showed that the artifacts were placed in a recently dug hole, filled with a mixture of the surrounding archaeological layers. So that's what Wikipedia had to say. So it would seem that there was a family at the time making and selling these things to the guy who was interested in them, apparently for a single peso apiece. And he was doing this, or buying them, since 1944. And since there were so many of them, that would be 32,000 pesos. So anyway, the information that the people used to make these figurines could have been from the nearby cinema, Acambaro cinema, or maybe books, even comic books or newspapers, and maybe a library, or even Mexico City's National Museum, which is within a day trip of the area. So what am I really saying? If these artifacts are in fact thousands of years old, which I do doubt, then in my opinion it doesn't mean that people were riding around on the backs of dinosaurs. What it means is that those people had access to books, to resources, that had information about the creatures that lived millions of years before them. And they were fascinated, much like children of today are absolutely fascinated by dinosaurs. But if the aging were to say that these are thousands of years old, I would say that's just proof that those people had access to the sort of information that we also have access to today.